everybody, and welcome back to Before the Vote. My name is Bella Gentry. I'm your host, and today we are joined by Representative Cynthia Lee Almond. She is an Alabama state representative and has served in that position since 2021. Additionally, she served as the president of the Tuscaloosa City Council for 4 years, and she is also a practicing attorney and has served as the Director of Development, Assistant Dean for Advancement, and Assistant Dean for Career Services at the University of Alabama School of Law. So she's had a very accomplished career, and we are very grateful to be speaking with her today. So welcome, Representative Almond, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so to start us off, I was wondering if you could tell us a bit about what your job as an Alabama state representative entails.
Well, so of course we are the lawmaking body for the state of Alabama, and I am on the House of Representatives side, so there are 105 of us versus only 35 in the Senate, so there are a lot of us. And we meet in Montgomery, Alabama, which is the state capital of Alabama. And so we meet during regular session, first of all, and for this year, that was mid-January to mid-April. And I would ride to Montgomery on Tuesday mornings and spend Tuesday and Wednesday nights and come home on Thursday evenings during that time period. In addition to that, I went to Montgomery for a special session on redistricting in Alabama back in October of last year. So I've been able to serve so far in my brief tenure. I was just elected in a special election in October of last year, and then I'm currently running for re-election, which will occur in November, for a 4-year term. So again, we're the lawmaking body, and we attempt to make laws or keep bad ones from being passed.
Great. So I wanted to ask, what has been the highlight of your career as a representative thus far?
I have to say, just being a part of it is certainly a highlight for me. It's something I have thought about doing for a number of years now, and to finally be there, have had the opportunity to run, and to be there has just been, for me, a very humbling but also rewarding experience. My father was in the legislature when I was growing up, and he just served for one term, but obviously I was exposed to this body then, and what all of that was about, and so not that I necessarily have always aspired to be in the House, but I always certainly had doing something on a state level in the back of my brain. So just to be there has been thrilling.
Yeah, that's such a great point. It's such a great accomplishment to get to have that position, and it's something that not a lot of people get to do. So in addition to being a state representative, you also work in the legal field. So can you talk a bit about what drew you to a career in law and how you got started in that?
Well, not to sound too repetitive, but my father also was a lawyer. And again, not necessarily trying to follow in his footsteps, so to speak, but I do recognize that things we are exposed to and understand as children in our formative years are things we tend to be drawn to. And so certainly let's just say I was like, I guess, 80% of young girls, I wanted to be a veterinarian until about the age of 13, at which point I decided that I wanted to be a lawyer. And I think I thought that, I had the skills, and I did well in school. I must have been argumentative, and people often said I should be a lawyer. I'm not sure. And just sort of set my sights on that early on, and really never wavered from it. So that's kind of how I got into that.
Yeah, absolutely. So this podcast is all about the importance of teen involvement in government and law. So I wanted to ask you why you believe that teen involvement in government and law is so important.
Let's say, first of all, it's vitally important as lawmakers that we get as many perspectives on things as we can. So whenever someone comes to the House floor with a proposed bill, of course it goes through a committee before it gets to the floor, but during that process we do try to open it up for obviously the public and to have as many people as possible give us feedback on the bills before we actually have to vote on them. So the more people we can hear from and the more perspectives we can gain, the better off we as decision makers are and the better decisions we make. So that includes teenagers as well. And while we don't often have a lot of that, of course, a lot of them are not even able to vote. So, they aren't always paying attention. But I think when they are, it's especially meaningful to us to hear from you all. So I also think it's never too early to start paying attention to these things. And if I had something to do over and better myself, I would have paid more attention earlier in my life to some of the broader issues that we deal with in the legislature so that I could be better informed today and have a better historical perspective on things.
Absolutely, I completely agree. What were some things that you learned while you were working with the University of Alabama School of Law and kind of getting involved with the students there?
Well, I did. When I was there, I primarily worked broadly in the external relations category. So mostly what I did was deal with alumni. But I did have a short stint in the Career Services Office as Assistant Dean for Career Services. And in that position, I interfaced with the students all day, every day. And I just had one of those students stop by at my office yesterday. He lives on the other side of the state now, and I was in town. And it's so rewarding to have them, drop by the office. And these are people I got to know because they were in my office a lot, looking for jobs and wanting help and develop relationships with these students. And some of them have been lifelong friends. One of them is a big lobbyist that I see all the time in Montgomery. So that makes it interesting. But obviously, getting to know those students the way I was able to in that position was rewarding, especially when I was able to, give them some sort of counsel to help them along their way in their careers.
Yeah, that's a really unique opportunity. So my last question is, what advice do you have for teens wanting to get involved in the legal field or in politics in general?
So first of all, especially with regard to the legal field, I would say, study hard, do well in school. Everything you do from, high school on up, it really counts and builds your foundation. So, do your best and try to learn as much as you can, not just take the minimum standard of things, but to broaden your knowledge of as many things as possible, especially during college as well. So that would be first thing. The second thing is if you have the opportunity to work for a law firm, I would encourage someone to do that. The practice of law has changed greatly since I graduated from law school, but certainly since my father would have graduated a long time ago. And a lot of people have a notion of what it's like, but the reality can be quite different. And it's a very diverse field, and depending on where you are and what kind of law you're practicing and for whom you're working, your career can vary widely from A to Z. So if you can get some experience working in a large firm, a small firm, it doesn't really matter, just to kind of get a feel for what goes on, I think that's an invaluable experience to help you start to know whether that's the right thing for you. And then as far as the public office side of things, again, start sooner rather than later paying attention to what's going on, not only on a national level, but also on a state and local level. Sometimes we overlook those things, and frankly, those are the things that impact us the most in our day-to-day life. I encourage people, if they're interested in doing something like that, to start on a local level, whether it's a city council or county commission or school board. It's a great place to get started in politics. You really learn your community. You learn a lot about politics and dealing with the public, and you start to form quite a knowledge base on the issues. And at some point, you have to have the courage to jump in the race and to go for it. And so just if that's something that interests you, then I encourage people to follow their dreams and to go for it. The worst thing that can happen is you run and you lose. And so what? It's a lot of work, yes, but it's also, something that you never know if you can do until you try. And it is one of the most worthwhile things I think you could spend your time doing. I mean, it's important for good people, smart people to step up and run and to serve. And if we don't, then sometimes is left to the people who are there for the wrong reasons. And so I encourage anybody who's interested to get started, and starting on a local level is a great place to begin.
Absolutely. Those are some really great and tangible tips. Well, those are all my questions. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today and speaking with us. I know everyone listening learned a lot.
Well, thank you for having me. I wish all of you the best as well.
Hi everyone, Editing Bella here. Thank you for listening to this episode of Before the Vote. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. I wanted to pop in and let you know that in the description box there is a Google form survey linked. On that form, it's completely anonymous. You can just let me know your thoughts on Before the Vote and if it's accomplishing what I intended for it to accomplish. So it'd be super awesome if you could just go and tick that really fast. It'll take literally 2 minutes. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know about that. Thanks again, guys. Bye.